Now, like most days this week, I was following Rory McIlory early this afternoon, and we reached the 17th, and I happened to glance at the leaderboard. Sam Burns, JJ Spawn, Ben Griffin, Victor Perez, Tristan Lawrence, Bob McIntyre, and Trevor Cohn. I was at Michael Bamberger at the time, Brian, and I just looked at him and says, Michael, we're in Oakmont, an iconic golf course, and I'm looking at a leaderboard with a name that I'd never fucking heard of before.
Yeah.
But who is Trevor Cohn?
Yeah, I don't know.
You don't know either?
I don't really know him at all, no.
So what chance would I have?
I know.
Anyway, I thought of you, Brian, right?
Yeah.
I thought of you. Why did I think of you?
Why?
Because you must be the only person at Oakmont this week that I haven't heard swear.
Right.
Have you ever sworn?
I do, I swear all the time. Sure, I'm Irish. It seems to be a national pastime.
Okay. Okay. Anyway, you went out. You went out early.
I did.
With Rory.
Yeah.
Yeah. Tell us how we got on.
Yeah, well, I went out mainly because I thought, you know what, it's wet. You never know. You might just find it and shoot, something like a 68 or a 67 and put himself in contention.
Right.
And any time he made a little mistake, it was a bogey. Made 6 bogeys, made 2 birdies, was a couple over after 9. Just never got any momentum going. It was backwards at the beginning.
Now, can you make a little mistake on this course and not make a bogey? I mean, it seems that the slightest error is punished here.
It's like half a shot. You've got to really do something special to not drop a shot.
Okay.
If you hit it in the rough, you've got to hit a great recovery or hole a putt or something.
Right.
So it must be mentally exhausting.
Yeah.
That kind of test, for 54
So
holes.
how did he get on?
So he ended up shooting 4 over par,
4 over
74.
par. Yeah.
Even Xander Schauffele was going quite well for a while. Dropped 3 or 4 shots in the last 6 or 7 holes. And he was cursing actually. I heard him a few times. He's not the type of guy you think of. And Rory was. It just never happened. He was looking at the lines of putts that didn't go in and looking back and. I remember on one of the par 3s, he hit a shot that went left, and he was looking at the leveling of the tee and saying, "Geez, look, that tee is a bit not level," and things like that. Just little things were getting to him, and it just wasn't.
Now let's remind ourselves, Brian. We were sitting here last night, and let's remind ourselves, or remind our audience of how that show ended. We will hope for the best. And we'll be back here tomorrow night. And in the meantime, Rory, if you're watching, we love you, baby. Come and talk to us. Now, I doubt very much that he was watching, Brian, but we do love him, and he did come and talk to us. And that was a surprise, really, because, again, he hadn't played well. He'd finished with a birdie yesterday and hadn't spoken. He finished with a bogey today and did come in. Yeah. And it was kind of curious because Stephen Watson from the BBC was forced up, and he asked him, something pretty,
nice soft opening question.
Yeah. Can you give us an assessment of your US Open so far? Stephen Watson asked, and Rory said, pretty average. So 2 words. When have you ever heard Rory give a 2-word answer to Stephen Watson from the BBC?
No. I mean, he's always very giving. He'll always give you a line. There'll always be something. There's plenty of meat on the bone with Rory McIlroy all the time.
Yeah.
He'll always engage. Doesn't mail it in, as they say over here. He'll always go the extra mile, especially for Stephen.
Especially for Stephen. So not a promising start.
No.
And it fed into really what we spoke about last night. What's eating him? He's out of sorts. This is not the Rory McIlroy that we know. Now, the press conference lasted 4 minutes and 47 seconds exactly. I think he was asked about maybe 8 questions. So again, didn't develop didn't develop his answers too much. Didn't give us too much.
There wasn't much of it. Yeah, the thread was a little bit stilted.
So we were still asking. You felt that. What did you feel about it?
I wondered.
What was your sense of it after?
My sense afterwards was, really wasn't really worth doing
Right.
that press conference when when he's feeling the way he's feeling.
Yeah.
And he said a lot of things. It was a fairly
But if you
defensive
didn't do
press
it,
conference.
but if you didn't do it, Brian,
He'd have been asked, why didn't you speak to the media for the
it's-
7th major
yeah,
round
and
in
it
a row?
festers.
Yeah.
So whatever is going on is
Yeah.
festering, and there is something going on. Now,
Yeah.
here's
Yeah.
the thing. Yesterday, he walked out of the clubhouse after the round.
That's right.
Walked straight by me in the car park.
Yeah.
Walked up with his car, got in, drove home. Today, I followed him out of the clubhouse again. He noticed me as he was getting into the car. He gave me a wave, Paul, and I walked over.
Okay.
And we had a chat for about 25 minutes.
Right.
And it was very informative and very, I wasn't recording it or anything.
No, yeah.
But I was
Chat.
a chat.
What's going on?
What's going on? How are you? That was how are you?
Which everybody is asking around here.
Exactly. What's this about? And it was interesting because he alluded to it, and he's alluded to it several times this year, is about this kind of fog that's enveloped him since the Masters, and this flatness. And he was asked about it by Greg Allen, actually,
Yeah.
in the press conference today. This kind of flatness, and that's what it is. But it's not all it is, because he was also asked about the stuff with the media.
Sure.
And he mentioned the driver, and that is part of it, but it's not. It's not the only part of it.
Yeah, because there was. I mean, the driver stuff wasn't that controversial. He was
No.
annoyed that his name was
At
the
the
only one
time,
mentioned.
at the time, you could see
and
why
all
he.
that. But there was other stuff.
At the
yeah.
time, you could see why he would be angry. Best thing was a question he'd been asked earlier during that press conference by Greg Allen. He was asked by Greg Allen, could he pinpoint really what's happened since the Masters? And he said, I've alluded to it in my pre-tournament press conference. You don't know how you're going to react. I wouldn't say to a life-altering occasion, but at least something that you've dreamt about for a long time. And that doesn't make sense to any of us in here, right? Really, you think we're kind of thinking, well, you won the Masters. What's wrong with you? I mean, you should be doing cartwheels.
Yes.
The pressure's off now. You're freewheeling. It's not like that. It doesn't work like that.
I know, yeah. It's like the old. You must be delighted, Philip, when Philip Walton won the Ryder Cup. He says, "I'm a pain in my backside being happy about the Ryder Cup." He got fed. But this is different. This is very different. Yeah, when you reach the summit, it must be an elation, delight. The happiest. You must be the happiest man in the world.
But it's so there's this flatness, a kind of confusion, a fog about, what happens now. So this massive high, what happens now? But the frustration with the media, the kind of tension with the media, has fed into that. So it's not just the driver. The driver was the issue at Quail Hollow, but it's more than that. And it's the questions he's been asked about what now. How many more majors are you going to win?
What's your new North Star?
What's your new North? Great, yeah. What's your new North Star like?
What's your 5-year plan?
What's your 5-year plan? When what he really needs and what he wants is a bit of space.
Yeah.
That he can just sit back, take a mental break, work things out for himself, and then get back to being who he is.
Yeah, he kind of said it when he won the Masters. Came into the press conference afterwards. What are we going to talk about next year? After the 11 years of when you're going to win your next major and when you're going to win the Masters and all the rest. And there's been no holiday.
Yeah.
No holiday at all. We're straight into he's going to win the Rory Grand Slam this year.
So it's not much, but it's a couple of little things I think combined that are building up. And again, great that he came in today. Yeah. I think he's going to kick on from here, and we'll be back to business as usual.
I think so. Yeah.
Pretty soon. Okay, Brian. Let's talk now about the tournament and the leaderboard, please.
Yep.
Sam Bourne's leading on 4 under. Adam Scott 3 under. JJ Spawn 3 under.
Yeah.
Victor Hovland 1 under. Carlos Ortiz level par. Tyrrell Hatton 1 over. Tristan Lawrence 1 over.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Interesting leaderboard.
Trevor Cohn 6 over.
Trevor Cohn, yeah. I think he's 35 years of age. It might be a qualifier, yeah. I had never really heard of him, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I
have to admit, there's always a few.
I looked him up. I don't think he's he hasn't won anything clearly this year or ever.
Right.
And
I think we can count him out then.
I think we can count him out. Anyway, I don't mean to be unfair to
No.
Trevor, but let's get serious now. Tell us about our leaderboard and what you picked up today.
Yeah, well, Sam Burns, beautiful player, 69. He's 28 years of age. He's won 6 times. I mean, this is a serious
pedigree.
Serious guy. Yeah, and beaten in the playoff there, just in the Canadian Open. Didn't play very well in the playoff.
Yeah.
It has to be said, but he's won before. He was a top college player. Didn't get a Walker Cup pick, as far as I remember. I don't think the USGA, whatever about the cut of his jib for the blue bloods of the USGA, he wasn't picked. It was pretty controversial at the time, but he's big mates with Scotty Scheffler, so he spends a lot of time with Scotty Scheffler. He's another very religious type of guy, Christian guy.
Oh God, no.
Yeah.
No. Yeah. Oh God.
So maybe a higher power will be helping him tomorrow. Who knows? Who knows? But he's he's played beautifully so far, and he's got a real chance. I mean, the way he's played, he's a great putter. Doesn't seem phased particularly about where he is at the moment. And he just said, it'd be incredible. He's incredibly excited, and it'd be just incredibly special to do it. So he's playing well enough to do it.
Now you had an interesting stat about about the leaders and what.
Yeah, this is Justin Ray, who's worked for Golf Channel and a lot of other people as well, The Athletic, I think, and people like that. And he just said each of the last 26 winners have been within 4 of the lead in the US Open. It's very hard to make up ground in the US Open, as we know, because it's so hard to.
So within 4 of the lead, that rules out who?
Well, that rules out the guys on 1 over, theoretically, which would be Tyrrell Hatton and Tristan Lawrence. Now, a lot will depend, won't it, on how Sam Burns reacts. He's only got a 1-shot lead over Adam Scott, who's...
now there's the surprise.
It's Adam Scott, 44 years of age, and if he wins, it'll be his 2nd major title.
Yeah.
And it would be the biggest gap, again, Justin, thank you for the stat, it'd be the biggest gap between major wins ever, really. Julius, 1st and 2nd wins, rather.
Yeah.
Julius Boris was 11 years, so Scott it'd be 12 years ago, that he won the Masters in 2013,
So
the year after blowing the Open.
So shades of Rory, perhaps, in terms
Absolutely,
of
shades
waiting
of
a long
Rory.
time for it.
Yeah, and he said it'd just be an exclamation point on his career.
Right.
I mean, he's done pretty much it all. He's still a beautiful swinger of a golf club. And I think he's just playing at a good level at the moment. He's not playing out of his skin.
Yeah.
I mean, he's tied with JJ Spawn. He's playing the best golf of his life.
Yeah.
He got beaten by Rory in that playoff for the Players.
Yeah.
I think I'm worried when I hear a guy saying, I'm playing the best golf of my life. You want to be playing, this is what I think Padraig always alluded to as well.
Yeah.
Like, people think to win a major I have to play out of my skin. If you're just playing your normal game, it's a good chance it might turn up. But hoping to continue to play the best golf of your life is a big ask for a guy who's won 1 tournament in his career so far. Victor Hovland as well. He's absolutely delighted to be where he is. I mean, he's there. What is he? 3 back. He says, that's very doable. He just wishes the driver. He's still not 100% confident in the driver. He's very dynamic though. He's great short game, makes birdies. I think he knows he's going to. I think he's got a brilliant attitude. I think he knows he's going to win a major, a couple of majors. Before his career. He's won great chance in the PGA last year. Xander Schauffele, got over the line ahead of him. So if he doesn't win tomorrow, I think he feels he's on a good path. But he's always looking for perfection. He wants to see, great shots. Whereas other people would just say, look, who cares what the shots look like? What's the score on the scorecard? So he can get a bit bogged down and all that kind of stuff.
So we've been 3 days now of the meat grinder, and we've got are we excited about tomorrow or not?
It'll be interesting to see if
Scott. I'd like to see Scott doing it. I've got to say, it'd be a great story.
Yeah, it would be a great story at 44. It'd be one of the older winners of the US Open. It's a Hale Irwin division. Obviously 44 these days. They're all a lot fitter. But then you got Ortiz as well, a live guy, 1 tournament win.
Oh God, no! Stop! No, we've had no. We're going to cut. No,
him being up there, the man who said. He's finding this normal because guys our heads are exploding all over the place, and he said, "This is normal for me. I have a head off in every round."
I saw that.
So Tyrrell Hatton is a dark horse there as well.
We'll take Hatton. Now, in the meantime, Brian, I need you to go and learn the words of Advance Australia Fair, because I have a feeling that Adam might do it.